Hey everyone, welcome back to the Walk to Wealth podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube or any of the podcast directories, make sure to do yourself one teeny tiny little favor and make sure to give us a follow because I don't want you to miss out on any of the amazing guests I got coming on this year. Without further ado, let's get right into this one. The guest I got coming on today is a guy I got to meet through the podcasting world. It's amazing who you'll be able to meet. You meet people that you probably normally never cross paths with, but because we have this online platform called podcasting, we were able to connect. I think originally it was maybe a little close to 2 years ago. I remember
Yeah.
having him on my podcast, and I hopped on his a couple times, and we've been in touch ever since. And when I hit 3 year anniversary back in December of 2024, and I just started reaching out to some of my favorite past guests, and he decided to come back on. So, Martin, for anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to listen to our first episode together way back, tell us your quick elevator pitch again. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, Martin Perdomo, the Elite Strategist. I'm a real estate investor. Been an entrepreneur for a long time. So your audience is young entrepreneurs. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 20. Actually, I started as an entrepreneur at 9 years old. I was selling my own toys, my used toys in New York City. So it's in my bloodstream. But yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for a very, very long time. I've graduated now into being a real estate investor. So I buy large apartment buildings. I hold them, I sell them, I hold them, I fix them. Sometimes I flip them. Sometimes I have over 100 units, over 100 doors I own that I rent, and I operate in two markets. I operate in Tampa, Florida, which I am here now, and I operate in the Poconos. I'm wearing the shirt. I got a second home in Pennsylvania, in Pocono Mountains, so I have an operations over there. So that's what I do. And now I'm going to be starting a fund where I'm actually going to become the lender. So I'm moving another level up. I'm going to become a fund manager Q2 of 2025. I'm excited about that because the future is super bright, man.
Yeah, that's amazing. One thing about the Poconos. So I went to the Poconos for the first time last year, actually in June. I did my very first Spartan race in the Poconos. Probably
Ah,
one of
my
my
kids
least
were there.
favorite things I'd done, but it was definitely, I'm thinking like this is a lie. It was a July I did it. I
Hmm.
started running in June. I ran from my house to my girlfriend's house. It was about 2 miles. And I'm
Hmm.
thinking like, all right, I'm an athlete. I know for a fact I can always run at least one. And this is my
Hmm.
mindset at the time. I know I could always run one. This is
Hmm.
like at the time I put it in GPS. It said like 1.6, but that was like driving. I forgot to change it to walking distance, right? So it ended up
Mm.
being about like 2 miles. I remember getting to their house and I was just like, man, I can't move. Can I borrow your car to get back home? Because the goal was to jog there, jog back,
Hmm.
and take a little break in between. And then about a month after that time, when I ran to her house, then I signed up for the Poconos Spartan race. It was 10K through the mountain, like 2,400 feet of total
Hmm.
elevation that you have to climb, plus 25 obstacles, and it was brutal. I caught like 3 cramps. Oh my
Yes,
god,
it
it took me like
is.
3.5 hours to go through that mountain. But
Yeah.
it was a dope experience getting to be there, getting to see it, and just push myself and see what I'm made of. And the month after that, I ended up doing another Spartan race, and I ended up running a marathon last year too.
Hey, congratulations, man.
I was on
That's
a
a
bunch of
big deal.
side quests last year, man. But
That's
so
good, dude.
I like the Poconos, and I'll be back there in July again for another Spartan race to
Hey,
kind of like
let me
redemption.
know when you actually. I'm going to be there July and August. I'm having a grandbaby. My youngest son, which I
No
think he's your
way.
age, is having a son. So I'll be there. I have a second home there, so I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'll be spending the summers there because the summers here are brutal in Florida.
yeah.
So my wife and I are going to stay there for July and August. So when you're up there, hit me up. My kids were at that
Yeah.
Spartan race. So my three
No
boys did
way.
that race. They did that race last July.
Yeah,
So
it was brutal. I mean, there was these sand. I don't know if they told you the story. I'm sure they did, but there was these like 50-pound sandbags we had to carry. Like it was like a quarter
hmm,
mile hike down, another quarter mile back up. And I remember on the way back up, it was just like a line of people that you see sitting down. And so I'm
it's
going
couldn't do
up
it.
this line.
Yeah.
I'm going up, and I'm just like, all right, if I could just go two people at a time. So I'll go up two people and then sit behind that person, then go up another two
Ah.
people and then sit behind that person. That race was brutal. So to kind of get back into the swing of things, man. So since we last caught up, last time you were on the podcast, you're telling us your story growing up in New York, growing up, starting a family, getting into real estate investing, and
Hmm.
since then, at that point in time, you were still doing your real estate investing. You were doing coaching. You had a community of people. So since that point, and I think it was like around 2023, since we last caught up and had you on the pod,
Yep.
What took place? What happened since then? Bring us up to speed, man.
Just a lot of great things, man. So community is growing. I am doing currently some one-to-one coaching, but it's only a handful just because I can't really scale that. So I'm doing more. I have a group community, um, group coaching where I meet with them twice a month, and I'm just bringing value, man. My thing is about empowering. My purpose in life is to empower others, right? That's why I have a
Mhm.
podcast. That's why I'm here, because I want to help someone. I want to empower someone. I'll share the story with you. So the other day, I'm talking to one of my business partners, Wilson. He hits me up. We're talking. Actually, I was in Pennsylvania. It was last week. He hits me up. I just bought a 6 unit, so we just started. We just started getting that project in the works. And so I went up there to put eyes on it. I hadn't seen it. I bought it, but I hadn't seen it yet in person. And so I'm on the phone with him, and he's like, "Hey, the power of what you do and what I do in the podcast, right?" He goes, "Hey, there's this guy I know, this young guy. We're in our 40s, him and I, and he talk about this kid. He's in 31 or something. He's like, hey, there's this young guy. He follows you. He listens to all your stuff, man, and really looks up to you." I'm like, "Who is this person?" He was like, "You don't know him, but he follows and listens to all your stuff." He was like, "He's already bought like 6 properties, right, in Ohio." So my partner, my boy Will, he's in Jersey, right? He's like, "Yeah, he's bought like say he's birthed all of them." And for those that don't know what BRRRR means, is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. So that's just a full circle of when you're buying an investment property, recycle your money and keep making more money with your money. And man, it just made me feel so proud, right? That what we do, sometimes what you and I do, we'll sit here behind a mic and we don't know who's watching and we don't know who's listening. And but people are watching and people are listening. And if it's one person that we can impact their life, if there's one person out there that watches or listens to this and I can inspire them to do better, be better, and change their life, man, I've done my job, right? I've done what God put me on this world to do. So for me, it's always about empowering, and my community is about just giving value and helping people come up, right? Because like you mentioned, growing up in New York City, I grew up in a drug infested neighborhood in Washington Heights. Those of you that know New York, if you've been to New York, people think of the glamour of Broadway and all the beautiful lights downtown. That's a nice side, guys. There's a dark side to New York City. There's
Mhm.
Harlem, and then there's past Harlem, which is Washington Heights. They're like neighbors. And then there's the Bronx, right? You never hear about the Bronx. People think about the Bronx, and it's like, right, it's just the hood, hood. It is. It is the hood. Most parts, not everywhere in the Bronx, but most parts are. So, growing up there and being poor, being kicked out at 16, John, I think I mentioned that before. My mom kicked me out
Mhm.
at 16 years old because I didn't want to follow the rules like, most young men. And my vice was women. It's always been girls, right? I was just chasing girls and shit, right? Got me. So my 16th birthday, I come home because I wanted to get a haircut. I wanted to get a fresh cut so I could look good for the girls. And I come home a few hours late, right? And my mom's like, by this time, this was the 9th time she kicked me out. And I remember my mom on my birthday kicked me out. And I said, hey, Mom, this is the last time you kicked me out. I'm not coming back. And I remember those days where I would be on the train, right? Sleeping on the train, the A train to Far Rockaway, sleeping on the beach, sleeping on rooftops, sleeping on parks. I did that for a month or so until a friend, a friend and his mom took me in and held me down for a year. And I've been on my own since then. But I remember praying, John, asking God for, hey, God, just send me someone that can teach me how to create wealth, right? Send me someone. I made a decision then unconsciously that I was going to own a lot of real estate because that pain of being homeless was too great. And I was going to figure that out. And that's why I'm in real estate today. And so God sent me many mentors along the way, still
Mhm.
have mentors to this day. God sent me many mentors along the way. And today it's my job to be the mentor that I was praying for, to teach others how to come up, to teach others how to get out of poverty. I know what that shit is like. I know what it's like. You know, at 11 years old, when I was 11, there were these sneakers, and you're not going to know the brand. The brand doesn't even exist anymore. There was these sneakers that used to be, they were called Elite, right? And I was 11. I was in the 5th grade, and my mom bought me this pair of sneakers. And I was a very active kid. playing ball in the streets, tag, and just New York City kid, just playing right all the
Yeah.
time. And I burned through these sneakers like in 2 weeks, and I had a hole in them. And I remember going to my mom and saying, "Hey, mom, I need a new pair of sneakers. These have a hole." And my mom told me that there were no pair of sneakers, that she didn't have no money. We didn't have any money to buy me another pair of sneakers.
Mhm.
2 weeks or a month, whatever it was later. And that experience, stood with me. I had to put black electrical tape on my sneakers, around my sneakers, to cover them. And in New York City in the early '90s, there was none of this bullying bullshit. There was no bullying, anti-bullying. You were getting roasted hard, right? Right. So you like it was none of this. There was none of this softness, right? It's New York City we're talking about in the '90s, right? And going to school, '89. That was in '89. Going to school, I had experienced that, and I made that decision then. I was never going to be poor. I was like, I wasn't born to be poor. I will never experience this shit where I cannot not afford to buy a pair of sneakers. So
Mhm.
I share that story with you and your listeners because today I want to be the guy that helps people. That's why I've created the Wealthy AF podcast. That's why I have the Wealthy AF community, because I want to teach people how to be wealthy and faithful, because people think wealthy AF is something else, but it's wealthy and faithful. You got to have faith um, in what you're doing,
No,
you
100%.
know?
I love that you mentioned it. One quick point that I want to touch on too is like, I'm glad that at least when I was growing up, that you can still make jokes without having
Mm-hmm.
to worry about what came out of your mouth. And like, man, I was never the funny kid growing up. But I remember one time, I think it was like seventh grade or eighth grade, where it's just kind of like, yo, I was just sick and tired of my boys frying me every single day. Like, I had some boys that had they decided to take another route, they probably could have ended up as comedian. Like they were like
Mm-hmm.
genuinely funny. Like they had the jokes, but they also had personality, but they were also witty. Like they were quick
Yeah,
with it. Like they could have been like little
they had
comedians,
it.
yo. Like they
Yeah.
they had it in them, bro. They were funny, and I wasn't. But like after enough Xbox parties where you're just getting cooked
Mm-hmm.
for hours at a
Mm-hmm.
time, I'm just like, bro, I can't take this no more. I can't live with this any longer. And I wish I was joking, but like that's what really inspired me, like to become quote unquote funny. It's just like, yo, I was just getting cooked every day for everything. I had flights
Mm-hmm.
and like Jordan flights. Like nowadays, like a lot of people who don't really have much, they get the Jordan flight because they still got the Jordan logos. But then like,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're in school, like that don't fly. Like
Uh-oh.
like you don't got
Mm-hmm.
retros, you got the flights on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's over. It is over.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm glad that said it because it builds character.
Yes, it
And even
does.
though it was amongst us boys, it never got to the point where it's like it was actual like bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's sometimes I teared up a little bit, like, yo, y'all not my friends for real, like
Mm-hmm.
and like you feel a little bit of a shame a little bit, but that
Mm-hmm.
builds that character, and eventually I got my own backbone, and I started to become
Mm-hmm.
funny. And then now it's like, all right, we can go back and forth a little bit. I got some jokes too. You're not the only funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad I went to school there at that time. And to kind of get back to your main point, what you were saying with everything though,
Mm-hmm.
um, from what my experience being on the other end of like where we met where I was still like very early on with this whole AI stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
my journey as like a educator, a coach, whatever. And one thing that I mean I kind of share with you is like I told you I got into real estate first. And so when I would
Mm-hmm.
go to all these networking events and real estate investor meetups, like one of the things that I'm so grateful for is that there were so many people like yourself who just had already a lot of money or were already successful and doing their thing, and they just wanted to give back because you get to a certain point where there's not really much
Mm-hmm.
more to do it for, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the houses, you have the properties, you have the this, the that,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The only thing that, not the only thing, but one of the only things, at least professionally, that fills your cup is just passing it on. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for that, meeting people like you. I was talking to my girl. I was telling her me and my dad got into an argument the other day. Um, he was just like, he's old school. He's immigrated here, didn't have papers, whatever, started,
Mm-hmm.
worked, and eventually got to the point where now he has his own landscaping company. They're doing really good. But like, he was like, yeah, John, like, people aren't going to be there to help you, and you got to do it. So you got to work. And I'm just like, bro, literally everything I've been able to accomplish is because somebody put me on. Someone gave
Mm-hmm.
me the opportunity. Someone this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm very fortunate and blessed that I made the most of the opportunities when they were presented. I
That's
wasn't
right.
stuck on the fence. I wasn't, just over here thinking and twiddling my thumbs. It's like, all right, this is an opportunity. Let's run with it. And not all of them worked out, but if they had not been presented by the people God put in my life, it would have been a different story. So, I love that you have this, spirit of a teacher because it's like, I mean, what more is there to do it for than to pass on game? Eventually, we're not going to be able to do it for ourselves forever.
That's right. And I'm writing a book now too. So
No way. When you
yeah,
start
I'm
that?
writing a book. It's I actually meet with my editor once a week because I wrote it, but I can't. mm, I, I've always been a C student, and I'm good at what I do. But I heard somewhere, I heard something the other day where A students are going to be employees, B students are going to be the bosses of the A students, and the C students are going to be the owners of the companies. And that shit is so real, man.
Yeah.
Because in school, all I cared about was just a 65. That was the passing grade in New York City. I didn't care for like, I didn't care to be like the achiever, A guy. Like, dude, just give me the credits. I want to graduate, get out of here. I
Yeah.
was chasing girls. That was my thing, right? I was just chasing girls. Um, but yeah, as it pertains to your dad, I had a thought on your dad. Your dad's old school. You got to remember. You told me your dad's from DR, right? He came from DR,
He's from Guatemala. My Dominican side is my
Guatemala.
mom's side. Yeah. My
Your
dad
mom's
came from there.
Dominican. Okay. So your dad,
Yeah.
remember, he came here and he had no one, he perceives it that no one helped him, right? So
Yeah.
he built this shit on his own. He busted his ass. He did what he had to do, right? He paid the price. So, it's not to any fault of his own. He gave you the opportunity. You've taken it. That he has this belief system. He has this belief
Yeah.
system that no one, but he doesn't really, truly, truly, truly believe that because if he has a landscaping company, he has a group of guys that are out there cutting grass for his company.
Mm.
So without those guys, there's no him. There's no company. And we come to the realization where you get old enough, but I think your dad's trying to make you strong
Yeah.
when he's saying that to you. He's trying to make you tough, right? And you can't get far if you want to go fast. Go alone. If you want to go far, go
Hmm.
together. Go with a team, right? It's Chinese proverbs. And as a young man, you're very lucky, man. You're very blessed, John. You got so much great information at your disposal. And you're what, 24 now, 23?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
23. Yeah. 23, turning
23, right?
24.
Dude, you're 23, turning 24. You have all this amazing information. You have people around you. You're in this conversation with me, dude. Like I would pray when I was your age to have someone to be able to have a conversation like this. Literally, I was praying for that person.
Hmm.
So to me, today, this is why today I feel like I have the responsibility. It's a responsibility for me to be that person that I was praying for. And the best way I can put it is an analogy. If you open up your hand, just put it in front of camera. Do you have anything close by? Change? Do you have a quarter or a pen or something in your
I have a
do you
pen.
have a okay? Take that pen, put it in your hand, right? So let's say that's God's gift to you, right, or God's talent to you, and God gives it to you. Now hold it tight, close your hand, and hold that pen. Now, if you have that hand, that talent, that gift, that money, whatever it is God gave you, and you take your other hand. Now take your other hand and try to put anything in there. Can you receive anything? No,
No.
no, the other way. So put your hand, this hand, that one. If you try to put anything in there, can that hand receive anything more? It can't. But if you open that hand, open it up, and you extend that gift that God's giving you to me, can you now receive?
Yeah.
You see that? You gotta, it's the law of prosperity. You gotta contribute to prosperity in order to prosper yourself.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? And that's the best
100%.
analogy that I can use is if God's given me something today and taken me out of poverty, dude, I have a responsibility because I would be a hypocrite to act and think that I did this all this by myself. I'd be a hypocrite to believe that hey, someone help me. It's my turn to help others. I have a duty and responsibility to help others that are praying for the information, like I was at one point, and still am because I'm leveling up. There's levels to this thing.
Yeah.
There's never an end to a guy like me. There's always another level. That's why I'm starting a fund. So now I'm gonna be a fund manager.
Yeah.
right? So
So
now I'm going to lend. I'm going to become the lender to guys like me that want to buy investments.
yeah, so that's dope. So, man, so talk to us about like that transition. Like I said, you're doing all the things. You have the community. You started writing a book, and now you're
Hmm.
going another level up. So, like, what has the journey been trying to break into that world of now? I said becoming the lender, becoming the money provider to other people who are trying to get into the game.
You know, the best way I can give you as an analogy is like this. You know, when you're playing a video game,
Yeah,
right? You're playing a video game. So when you're in level one, it's hard at first, right? But
yeah,
then you pass level one, you finally master level one, and then you go to level two, right?
yeah,
And then when you go to level two, you suck at level two. So you're a student at level two, right? You're a student at level two. You're like, fuck, it's hard here. But you keep playing, and then you graduate, and then you're like, boom, you get to level three, and then you get there, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, right? You
yeah.
start, then you become the best. You master that, then you go to the next level. Uh, the key is we can't get stuck in the level. So for me, now I know I'm going into a new arena. This is totally new. I'm going to open up a lending fund, become a fund manager, and I'm going to lend to investors like me. So in real estate, there's levels, right? So think of it as a triangle. As in real estate investing, there's levels. So think of a triangle. At the bottom of the triangle, you got wholesaling, right? That's entry level. The next level up is um is flipping, right? Flipping houses. The next level up from that is buying and holding. So buying the apartment buildings, owning the real estate and renting it for cash flow. And believe it or not, there's another level above that, which is the pinnacle, right? At the tip of the spear is the lender. There's a great book for your audience to read on money if they haven't read it. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you've read it. I think it's George
Yeah,
Clason that
it's
wrote that.
annoying to get through because like the old English, but like
Hmm.
if you can get through it, yeah,
There's different
it's a dope
versions.
read.
There's different versions. So
No way, the
find
one I read
yeah,
was old English. It was a
yeah,
dope book. The principles in that book are fire.
there's different versions. So get the one that's American English and get it with the it's American English and then it's a story. It's a story. Though if you listen to it, you're listening to a fable. It's
Mm,
amazing. It's a really good listen to. But the number one rule of money is what? He who has the money makes the rules.
mm,
Right? That's the number one rule of money. He who has the money makes the rules. So for me, the next logical step is I want to become a lender. Now, I have a model. I have a model to model that framework because I had a mentor that started a lending fund. He started as a real estate agent. And for those of you that are real estate agents, he started as a real estate agent, went from becoming a top real estate agent to flipping to holding large properties to opening up a lending fund. And guys, today in 2025, he's about to buy his second community bank.
damn.
You heard that. He went from a freaking agent to buying a bank. Second one, he's buying a second one. He owns a bank now. He's now buying a second bank. So it's possible. Now, the guy's a genius in his own right, and he's only in his 30s. He's only like 36 years old. He's a young guy. Um, so he's a genius in his own right. But if a guy like that can do it, if anyone else can do it, the question you should be asking is, why can't I? Right? It's just a skill I
100%.
need to learn. It's just something new I need to. So I always ask these questions. Hey, what is it I don't know? What is it I'm not doing? And who is it I need to know? So I hired a new coach on top of the other ones I already have. I have a business coach. I have different coaches. And I hired a new coach. I hired a fund manager coach, someone that's going to teach me the world of fund management. Right. And I'm building it from there. I hired a book editor to help me with the book. Like I go to experts, man. That's one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older is just hire people that are good, just good at what they do. Bring them around you, and then let them do what they do and teach me.
Yeah,
So I'm a student. I'm a student at this level. I'm a master at my level, but I'm a student at the level up.
yeah. Well, it's just thing I love is like if you're not growing, you're dying.
If
Like
you're not growing, you're
complacency
dying.
is even worse than going backwards. Because like at least when you're going backwards, you're moving. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
doing something. Might not be the best thing, but you're learning from
Mm-hmm.
that. But like when you're just
Mm-hmm.
complacent, standing still, you can't learn anything. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you're not growing, you're dying is one of my favorite quotes for that. But what you were saying, and I love too. You mentioned a lot of good points in there. One of the points I really want to highlight is I hired a not just a coach, a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasis on the new, right? The
Additional.
coach, yeah, and additional, right? So you have
Mm-hmm.
coachables for multiple areas, but like it's dope that you're still continuing despite achieving and mastering the level that you're at,
Mm-hmm.
and not only just striving for more, but striving for more, and still also understanding that you are that student, having the humbleness to like, hey, I'm new to this. Let me go find someone that's an expert. I think one of the things, one of my books I read that like it's called The E-Myth Revisited, and I read that book like right before I hired my first video editor. And up to that point, I probably edited like 100 podcast episodes by myself. I was doing all my own content for like short form reels and stuff like that. So I've edited a bunch of videos up to that point, both long and short form. And so I knew a thing or two about editing. Nothing crazy, but I definitely could have just continued editing my own stuff. But then when I hired my video editor, I was like, yo, if I have to teach him how I like to my videos to be edited, he's not the right guy. The person
Mm-hmm.
I'm hiring should be better than me. He should be taking off my plate, not adding more stress to it, right? Not adding more for me to do. And so, like for my editor, the one I'm with now, at least I've been with him for a year, but like he's way better than me in editing. And
Mm-hmm.
like to your point of like, just find the best and let them do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You if you're the smartest person in your team, your business, your school, whatever it may be, then like it'll only grow to as much as you're growing. And you don't want to be the
Yes, sir.
bottleneck, right? But if everyone else is like, as I said, smarter than you in their respective areas, I feel like it can just compound and grow so much quicker, so much faster, so much better. And so I only have an editor on my team, but in the future, as my business starts to grow more and more, I start to bring more people on. Like, that's one thing I'm gonna be looking for. Like, are you even better than me? Because if not, I could
Mm-hmm.
just do it myself, right? But as your point, like hiring people that are good at what they do. And I'm not good at everything, and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I want to make sure I find people that are better than me so that I could just, defer to them on whatever subject it is.
I'll give you a little piece of advice to which was given to me when I started hiring years ago. When I first started hiring years ago, because when you're hiring at the beginning, it's a little bit scary when you're a solopreneur,
Yeah.
right? It's a little bit scary. Damn, I'm going to have these expenses now. It's not just me anymore. Now I got to worry about me and this person and that person,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's what your mind tells you when you're growing your business and you're doing your first couple hires. After that, it's just business. Like you're like, okay, this is my next hire that's going to help me get to the next level. But here's one thing I learned was a team of C players will beat a solopreneur A player all day long. You heard what I just said to you.
Yeah.
A team of C players. So my mentor used to tell me that, right? He used to tell me that, and he would have a metric. Same guy that I told you is buying another bank, and his metric was, and the way he built his business, fast Inc. 5,000, fastest 5,000 company, growing company in America for like
Mm-hmm.
15 years in a row, right?
Sheesh.
No, 10 or 15 years in a row, something like that. Um, and his methodology was, if I'm hiring someone and they can do what I want them to do at 90% capacity, then that's good enough, because no one's going to do it exactly like me. No one's going to do it exactly as good as me. But at
Mm-hmm.
90% capacity of what I can do it, um, then that's good enough. We can grow,
Yeah.
right? And this was his mindset. And it just makes so much sense when you're thinking about your team. Hey man, I can have 3 A players with me, and I can have 3 C players or even D players, right? Barely making the mark, right? D players with me versus you, a all-star A player. We're gonna run circles around you because we
Yeah.
just gonna get so much more done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah. I heard that somewhere too as well. Yeah. It's
All right. So,
there's a one guy. Do you know Dan Martell?
of course, yeah, he hit me
Because
up the other day.
I actually been following him, his
Mhm.
podcast for like the past few months. He's really dope when he talks about similar
He is.
concepts. Really,
Mm-hmm.
really smart guy. For anyone that's listening, he got into tech pretty, had a very tough upbringing, dealt with a lot of, his vice
Mm-hmm.
was like alcohol, if I'm not mistaken, and eventually got into tech, started coding,
Really
worked his
neat
way up the
guy.
ranks, had a really big exit, and now he's just doing super massive things in the podcasting
Hmm.
space, in the business space, in the tech space. And like he talks a lot about similar process, about like the 10-80-10 rules. Another thing is like when
Hmm.
you're hiring people, like you gotta, the first 10 you could start up, the rest of the 80, like let the people that you hire work on, and then the final 10 you come back and just add your final touch to it. That way, like you still have a hand on it a little bit, but like for the vast majority of things, you're just leveraging out and letting people do what they do. But yeah, he's been a dope guy to listen to. So I'm glad that you also listen to him as well. But
I
yeah,
do.
so
Good stuff by him.
so bring us up to speed again. So you're starting up this fund, as
Hmm.
well. You got another coach, and you mentioned too that you have coaches in other areas as well. And like I love how
Hmm.
you make an emphasis to state that you're investing in yourself constantly. Right. If you want to grow and want to
Hmm.
reach the next level, you got to invest in yourself constantly. So take us to where we're at today. As I said, it's January right
It's
now.
kind
The
of.
day we're recording this, you're working on getting this fund going sometime this year. So like, what are
Hmm.
some of the challenges you're facing, and like what you got cooking up?
To your point of what you just mentioned. It's you got a lot of guys that'll come on podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Like me, um, and then they won't admit they have coaches or they have mentors or they like a lot of guys
Yeah,
they
they
just
want
try
to
to act
seem like
like
they
they're
got it
they're
all figured out. They're
they're
the
just
smart
they got it all
guy.
together. Bullshit, man. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, right? I'm not. I got a lot to work on. I got a lot to figure out. There's a lot I still want to do. There's still a lot I don't know that I want to do, and there's a lot that I've done that others want to do that I can help, right? So it would be hypocritical for me to host my mastermind or coach any one of my and on of my mentees, and then look them in the face and tell them the importance of having a mentor or coach and why they should invest in myself, and I don't do it for myself. that's
Hmm.
that's just hypocritical, right? To me, that's just hypocritical. um
Yeah.
so I have a business coach. I have a mindset coach. I have a book editor, which she's I don't know if I should call her a coach, but it's more so writing a book is different. For me, it's just I'm not wired that way. So the thing is my process is I wrote the book. I have multiple friends that have written books. And I wrote the book and I sat on it for like 3 years. It's sat in my Dropbox for like 3 years. And I met Amanda. She came on my podcast and she's a book editor. This is what she does. And she's a writer and this and that. And I'm like, hey, take a look at this. Just tell me what you think. And she fell in love with it. She absolutely fell in love with it. She said, you have gold here. And I was like, yeah, I feel like something's missing, right? Because I don't identify, because it's all in your identity. I don't identify as a writer, right?
Yeah.
I was a C student, right? I'm not. I write how I speak, so I know sometimes I don't put my words together properly because I'm Dominican, right? I'm Latino. I was
Yeah.
born here, but my first language was Spanish. So I write how I speak, and it's all good. It just is what it is. It's who I am, right? So I hired her, and it's a very unique experience. So the framework is done. I wrote the book, and now she's like we're missing this, we're missing that, and we meet every week, and she'll just ask me questions. So instead of it being me writing a book, she's interviewing me, multiple interviews, and she's just getting the information out of me, extracting it. We're recording it, and then she's writing it,
That's
and then it's
dope.
being written. But she uses some sort of AI. It's a lot of cool stuff. Some stuff in your she uses AI, which is in my voice, and it's edited. She does a lot of really freaking neat, cool stuff. But I bring
Yeah.
experts, right? I bring experts into the field, into my business, into my world to teach me, help me. Like, hey, I don't have this all figured out. I want to be a bestseller, but I got a lot of stuff to share. I just don't know how to put it down on paper. I don't know
Yeah.
how to put it on an organized fashion, right? So I have her. I just hired a fund manager coach, right? So this is someone that has raised billions of dollars, understands that world very well. And I brought him on to consult with me and teach me. Like, hey man, this is what I got to do, and he's teaching me. Hey, this is I'm learning the logistics of a fund, like the SEC rules and all of these other things, and then I'm learning the hey, where we find investors, how we find investors. Do we want to have an accredited investor? Do we want a non-accredited investor? Like, so I'm learning all these other things, and I just sit there and take notes and ask questions. Like, I used to when I was first learning how to wholesale a deal.
Yeah, that's dope. You gotta
Right?
stay a student, right? Stay curious. I think
Yeah.
one of my things that my mentor tells me, he talks about plus equals minus, right? You always gotta
Mhm,
have someone that's ahead of you, that's teaching you and putting you on game. You always have people that are equal to you, or like are on your same level that you can
mhm,
mastermind with, collaborate with,
mhm,
bounce ideas off of. And then minus is you always have to have people who are earlier on in their journeys so that you can help, because you learn a lot through teaching as well. Because teaching, as
mhm.
you find out, writing, it
Reinforces.
forces you to take your brain and all the thoughts. I think we think kind of similar in terms of like we're very creative, we're like the visionary X
Mhm,
people, um, which is great for some things, but other things, for example, like writing a book, it's awful for. It's hard to be a
mhm,
visionary and write, because a lot of times our thoughts are just all over the place. It makes sense to us. It
mhm,
works for us. And
mhm,
like, but like when it comes to, I've been writing my own newsletter, which is like a lot of people would
mhm,
think, oh, John, you're the AI guy. Why don't you just have AI write your newsletters? But like for me, one, as I write my newsletter, it's helping me to gather my thoughts and it forces me to put the things I think about into like steps or frameworks or methodology so that anyone can pick up and apply it easily. Because it
mhm,
works for me already. It's in my own head, but the way it's in my head is like a web and everything's all everywhere. But like
mhm,
if I were just bleh on anyone, they wouldn't be able to understand that. So like, all right, how can I
mhm,
put this into a way that just makes sense so that anyone, no matter of their experience with AI or technology or marketing at all, they could just pick up and understand it. So I've been writing these newsletters for a little while now. I think maybe like a year or so now.
mhm,
And it's been dope, as I said, because it really helps you become more articulate, helps you to
mhm,
take these very complex idea and break it down something. One of the things I learned separate, kind of separate, but applies, is that as I've been investing in myself to become a better public speaker, there's a lot of people that are technically brilliant, meaning they're really really smart at what they do, whatever it is, whether it's AI, whether it's real estate investing like yourself,
mhm,
whether it's football, whether it's nutrition, like
mhm.
in their said subject, they
Matter.
are the expert. But
Mhm,
once you get in front of a stage and you get in front of people, then you have to take all that expertise and now give that to the audience in a way that they're able to make sense of it. It's like they sound like idiots a lot of times. They don't realize like there's a art to teaching. There's an art to
mhm.
distributing information. Like getting the information is one thing, but like distributing out to other people in a way that they're able to make use of it, it's a whole nother ball game. And
Yes,
so
it
like
is.
I'm really excited for like in the future. I want to write a book as well. One book is probably gonna end up being on AI, of course. I just gave a TEDx talk last month on AI. So
Congratulations, man. That's
thank you,
awesome.
man.
That's a
I'll let you.
big
I'll
deal.
let you know when it drops. But so
Yeah,
like I
please
want to
send
do
it to
something
me.
on AI, and but then in the future, part of the reason also too why I'm doing this podcast is because like I want to have a book, like
Mhm,
documenting my journey, like the things I learned along the way. I'm very blessed, very fortunate to talk to a lot of people like yourself. Go to a lot of events where I talk to a lot of people that have made it and further ahead, and also talking to a lot of people that are on the same journey in a similar stage in their journey. And
mhm.
also now I'm also mentoring. Um, and I am a mentor at the University of Connecticut, which is super
That's
dope because I
awesome, man.
dropped out. And so it's like
Congratulations.
it's a full circle moment because like I got one student. Usually it's like two calls and then you don't really hear from them again. But one this semester was the first semester. I got this one guy named Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. Um, he's also in AI and like his business right now. He's trying to help property managers, like with their lead gen and run Facebook ads for them. And so it's like he's a sophomore right now. Currently, he has
Is
this
he good?
AI
Is he
agency.
good?
Yeah, I'll let you know. He's trying to put his right now. We're working on
When he
he's
gets good, hit me up because I got some referrals for him.
yeah,
I
I
know a
will
lot of
do.
property managers. I got a couple and right off rip that need that help.
Yeah, right now he's working on getting his first couple clients. He's trying to get some proof of concept first, but I'll definitely let you know. But it's so dope to see because like, bro, I still remember when I was a sophomore year. That's when I started my real estate
Mhm,
classes. That's when I
mhm,
took that first wholesaling class, and so it's like it's kind of like a
mhm.
full circle moment to kind
So
of
they actually
see that.
teach wholesaling in at the universities and
No, no,
schools
no,
and
no.
shit.
I that was a
Oh,
separate
you
class.
went
It was like
outside of it. Got it.
yeah, you know that guy Max Maxwell.
Yeah, I know Max
Uh,
Maxwell. Mhm,
yeah, I bought his like $500 course in wholesaling,
mhm.
and then some bad attorney told me you can't do that in Connecticut, even though you can. Story for another day, but I was like, if the
Some
attorney's saying
attorneys
it,
are douchebags, man.
it gotta be
Excuse me,
true,
dude.
I mean, he
And some
wasn't
title com and
lying.
some title companies don't even know better. They'll tell you it's illegal. You can't do it.
Yeah, because you can't transact in real estate in Connecticut without a license.
That's
On
correct.
market. On market. That's the thing they
But
leave out. Off
but
market, you're fine. On market, no, you need a license. That's the thing. So technically he wasn't wrong, but he also wasn't giving me the
the
whole
whole
deal.
story.
But he
Hmm.
also, to his defense, probably didn't even know about wholesaling. He was some old fart, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but to kind of bring it back, so that's dope that, as I said, you still got mentors, you're still coaching, you're still doing everything. And now let me ask you too, because most of the people listening, they're probably not gonna be at the stage where they can, invest and receive any funding. So like, what are you cooking up? Because I know you still got the community going on. How's that been going? What are you cooking up with that?
Well, we're doing. I got a lot of cool stuff for this year, man. I'm doing some property tours. I'm doing meetups. So I'm doing meetups. So I became a member of the Cathedral Cigar Lounge. If anyone's in Tampa, I'm not bigging this place up. I'm just a member of it, and you smoke cigars. This is a really cool place. It's one of the coolest. It was an old church,
Yeah,
and they turned it into a cigar lounge. So it's pretty dope. So I host a meetup there every other month here in the city of Tampa. Just go to wealthyaf.ai and you can see if you're in Tampa, you can check it out. And if you're in the Poconos, go to there, go to events, wealthyaf.ai event. And then I'm hosting an event once a quarter in the Poconos. I'm also going to be doing a property tour. So I don't know what property I'll own and what I'll be working in July, but I know I'll be working on something July, August. I'm doing a property tour. So I'm literally taking people um, to one of my properties, one of my projects. Like, hey, let's go. I'm taking a let's go. Here's what I look for. Here's what I do. Here's how you walk a property. Like, by the way, this is free. This is free, right? I'm doing this for free to those that show up. And then if you want to get more education on creating wealth, then just join my community. Then just join my coaching program. Join my one to many program where we're reading a book. So right now, this month's book, we're reading. And I don't know if you've read this one, but How to Win Friends and Influence Others by Dale Carnegie, right? So
yeah.
we're reading that book this month. And all the books are curated by me. I've read over 500 books, and all the books are curated by me. And this month we're reading that. We just finished reading. We read every year, every single year. January we read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Hmm.
Because when you read that book, that is for me, that is the Bible of personal development, right? It's all there. Everything else is regurgitated from there. From that book. So
Hmm.
every year we read that. We just finished reading that book, and we, every time I read that book once a year. Every time I read that book, I always get something new from it, something I
Hmm.
forgot, or I'm in another place in my life, and oh shit, I needed to be reminded of this thing. So just a lot of exciting stuff. We're starting a $20 million fund. So just exciting, man. I gotta tell you, um, when I think of the younger version of me, if I think of when I was 22, I'm 46 today, and I'm gonna be a grandfather here soon. And when I think of the 22-year-old version, I even go back to the 16-year-old version of me, and that young guy, if that young version of me knew where we would be today, he wouldn't believe it. Like he would not believe it. Like he would, like that young person, that young guy always had a dream. That young guy always professed that he wasn't born to be rich, that he wasn't born to be poor. Excuse me, that I was born to be rich. Always professed that. Always professed that. Just didn't know the how. But if that young man knew and can look into the future of the life we live today, he'd be like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way we did that. There's no
Yeah.
way we did that, right? So, what I can say to a young man or a young woman that might be struggling and might be thinking, hey, how do I get out of this struggle? Is just believe in yourself, believe that the future is bright, believe in your vision, believe that there's something greater for you. Really believe that. Really, really, really believe that. I always believe that. Really believe that. And then let God do the rest. I would say things to my mom. Mom, I wasn't born to be broke. Mom, I was not born. I'm not like, and I would say that to my wife, my girlfriend, when she was my girlfriend years ago. I'll say that to her. Like, man, just being broke shit is not for me. I just not like I'm gonna figure this out. I don't know how, but God's gonna show me the way. God's gonna show, and I always believe that. And to go from there to be talking about I'm gonna start a $20 million fund. That was like a freaking like, what are we talking? Like, what? To me back then, that was like, oh my gosh, what are you saying? What are you saying? It's surreal, right?
Yeah.
And yet here I am, doing it, owning a bunch of real estate. Just right now, dude, like I can't be homeless, even if I wanted to, right? I gotta really fuck it up really, 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 really bad. Right. Um, but I can't, right? If I got apartments everywhere, I got vacant, I could just,
You'll figure it
that was
out.
my drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my drive. I didn't want to ever experience that pain of homelessness. So I was going to buy a lot of real estate. That's the decision I made, man. And I'm just getting, here's the thing, man. I feel
You're
like
just
I'm
getting
just getting
started.
started, John. I'm just
Yeah.
getting started, man. I'm going to the next level and then the next level after that and then the next level after that. And I don't know what those levels are yet because I'm not exposed to those levels yet because I'm not
Yeah.
at the next level. You only get exposed to the next level when you get to the next level, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you kind of showed throughout this entire conversation that really it encompasses like your energy and your personality. Just say the person who loves to walk will always get further than the person who's walking just for the destination, right?
Ooh, I
And
love
it's like
that.
you know it just shows in who you are. Like you love the game. Like
I do.
you love the game, which is great because some people don't. And like to be talk about an actual game, like some every now and then I'll see clips from like these NBA players. They're hopping on a bunch of podcasts now, and so like I'll see clips of NBA players talking about. And they'll talk about how like there's other people in the league who legit don't enjoy basketball.
Mm,
Like and they're in the NBA. That's the highest form like
level.
level you
Yeah.
can reach in the world, and they don't love basketball. So there's a lot of people who are doing it just for the destination, which is, as I said, to each their own. But like you could tell that you just genuinely love the game, which is dope to
Yeah.
see. Because as I said, you got into entrepreneurship. What you're 9-11 selling toys, and now you're
Yeah.
46, about to be a grandpa, and still like, hey. I just got
Yeah.
a new coach. I got this new thing I'm working on, and I don't know, what you could just see it, man. So it's dope to see. So Martin, I guess I mean I already asked you the famous 5 questions last time you hopped on. So I just let's leave the audience with this. Like, what's one piece of advice, just based on our conversation today? What's coming to your heart that you just want to leave with the audience right now?
Believe, man. Look, guys. I could sit here. I was in the car the other day with one of my employees, and we were coming from a property, and he said, "Hey, we're going to be hosting this meeting. What are you going to teach, right, to my mentees, right?" And I said, "Today I want to talk about belief, right? Because if you believe in yourself, the skills will come, right? If you believe, if I can reprogram you, if you can reprogram your mindset to believe that you can achieve, you will achieve. So says
Mm,
so says Napoleon Hill. If you can believe, you will achieve, right? Believe. So wherever you are in life, right? Decide what you want. I'm going to give them the formula to success. I'm going to give your audience a formula to success. And it's D plus C plus MA equals success. And the D is for decide. Make a decision what it is that you want. Decide today not to be a freaking chicken. And I'm going to talk about the chicken and I'm going to leave you with that story before we go. Decide. And then whatever that decision is, I'm going to be an AI expert, right? You told me earlier, you honed down on what you're going to niche this year, right? This is what I'm deciding. That's it. Boom. I'm in. All chips in, right? Then commit to that thing. Commit to that thing where nothing is moving you from that thing, no matter how long it takes you, no matter how much is gonna cost. And when I say cost, I don't mean like cost of money. I mean cost of sacrifice. I have to lose sleep. I have to wake up early. I have to go to bed at night. I got to go after work. I got to whatever it's going to take. That level of commitment, right? So D, decide, then commit to that decision you made, and then go and take massive action. That's what MA is for. Go and take massive action. Listen to the podcast. Go to the whatever it is. Go to that class. Go to that meetup. Go to that whatever that is that action that requires for you to get better. Make the sacrifice. Hire that coach. Go join that community. Whatever that is, whatever that sacrifice is, go take action. And if you do those three things, if you decide, you commit, and you take action, massive action, you will succeed. There's no stopping you. Here's the thing. Time is going to go anyways, guys. I realized this shit when I was in my 30s. I was like, okay, I've made this money. I know how to make 200,000 a year, 250 a year. At 26, I made at 27 in the mortgage industry, I made $1 million at 27 years old. My company did. And yet I had nothing to show for. I didn't know nothing about money, knew nothing about creating wealth. And what I was realizing was that time was going to go anyways. And as you get older, you realize, shit, time goes anyways. So why not sacrifice the next few years and be really disciplined so that I can be free for the rest of my life? Because these years are going to pass no matter whether I do the same shit again or I do something different. Why not try something different to be better? Man, great bet I made. It comes with time, right? That's just, it comes with time. It's that wisdom and time. And I'm going to leave you with this story. There was this farmer that found an eagle's egg. And he took this eagle's egg and he put it in with the chicken coop. And he put it in with the eggs with the chickens. And the mama chicken sat on the eggs, and all the chickens were born. And this eagle was born with the chickens. And the eagle walked like a chicken, acted like a chicken, plucked the ground like a chicken. And one day, the eagle looks up and he sees this majestic bird flying in the sky. Beautiful bird. And the eagle asked one of the chickens, wow, what a beautiful bird. Who is that? And the chicken looks up and tells him, oh, that's the eagle. They command the sky. That's the eagle. We're just chickens. We can't get up there. Right? And the eagle continued to live with the chickens and died a chicken, not knowing it was an eagle. So my question for your audience today, are you an eagle living with chickens? What is your belief system? Who are you spending time with? Don't be a chicken. Fucking decide. What do you want? Commit to that thing and go freaking soar in the sky and go take control and be a majestic eagle. Then take control of your life and lead it in the direction that you want.
Amen. Great place to end it. Martin, thanks you so much for hopping on the podcast. For anyone listening, that is all for the episode, and I'll see you in the next one.